Hola a todos! Welcome to your irregular future notes. By the end of the day, you will be able to use irregular verbs to talk about the future. So first of all, go ahead and read page 451 in your textbook to get an idea on what we're going to do. Now that you've read the page in your textbook, I'm going to do a little bit more thorough approach to irregulars. Now the good news is, when I was in high school, when I first learned this, I was told, well, they're irregular, you just have to memorize them. Since then, I have, grown more wise, and I have found 3 little categories that will help you remember them. So we're going to split those into 3 categories, do some practice there that hopefully will help you find some patterns and help you remember. Before we talk about the irregular tense, the irregular future that is, we're first going to review the regular verbs. So normally when you start out with regular verbs, you're going to first take the infinitive ending, or rather take the whole infinitive verb, and then add one of 6 endings. It'll be as, a, hemos, es, or an. For example, I will open, abriré, you will eat, comerás, he will speak, hablará, we will praise, hablaremos, alabaremos, and so on. Okay? So here are the 3 different categories, 3 different things that the irregular verbs will do. In our first kind, the stem will drop the letter E in the infinitive ending, in the ER ending. So notice that those are all going to be ER verbs because they're going to lose an E. So that's exciting. Okay. The second kind will drop the E in the infinitive ending. They're actually be E and I verbs, as you can see below. But then they'll actually replace it with a D. So that is interesting. And then our final 2 verbs are literally just decir and hacer. So in trying to make a rule to them, you say, well, they get rid of the CI, they get rid of the CE. But that's just kind of, I'll just show you. They're funky. All right, here we go. Awesome. Notice that all of these are all dropping something. Drop the letter E. Drop E or I. Drop whatever, okay? This means that they all lose a syllable. You can think of it as like they're all the irregular verbs are losing a syllable because they're just so excited that they can't wait to get to the future that they have to just get there quick. Not get there quickly, get there quick. So they drop syllables because they go so fast. So that's fun. So that's how you remember the irregulars want to get to the future, so they drop a syllable. We did a little preview that the first kind are all going to be ER verbs, and they tend to be common irregulars. The kind in this group, the ones that drop the E's, are going to be caber, which means to fit, haber, which means like there are those things, poder, which is like to be able to, querer, which is to want to, and saber, which is to know. Okay. So in dropping this letter E from the infinitive, that results in caber becomes cabr, and then we add whatever endings we need from above, these guys. Okay. Haber follows that same pattern, just get rid of the E. Done, right? Haber becomes abr something, abra, abremos, whatever. Poder becomes podre, podré, podrás, podrá. Querer becomes querrá, querrá, querremos, querrán. And saber goes to sabr, whatever, followed by the ending. Okay. We're going to do 3 verbs as an example. The first one I talk you through, and the other ones you're going to try to do on your own. So saber, like I said, goes to sabr. We drop the E, basically. Actually, that's no, we want to remember what it was. What it was. Okay, so we take this sabr and we put that in front of all of our verbs. making it, of course, a color that we can see. And once we get rid of the E, then we just add on our future endings to get sabré, I will know, sabrás, you will know, sabrá, he will know, sabremos, we will know, sabréis, y'all will know, and sabrán, they will know. Okay. So we drop the E, and then we add our future endings. Go ahead and pause the video and try to fill in poder by yourself. Tú podrás hacerlo. Ah, ha, ha. Again, these are dropping the E's. So poder becomes podrá, whatever. So we take that podrá and we put it in front of our not our infinite endings, in front of our future endings. So I will be able to, podré. You will be able to, podrás. He will be able to, podrá. We will be able to, podremos. Ya will be able to, podréis. And they will be able to. That's not it. Podrán. I knew I was going to mess up somewhere, and there it was. Awesome. And pause the video and try your querer out for size. All right, here we go. Querer, again, is in the drop the E group. So it's going to become just quer followed by our ending. So we're going to start. You know what? I'm going to start with the endings first. I know it's going to be has, a, hemos, es, en. Nope, on. I did it again. And then I just need to put quer in front of everything. So I will want to, querré. You will want to, querrás. He will want to, querrá. We will want to, querramos. Y'all will want to, querréis. And they will want to, querrán. Or they will want. Doesn't have to be a to do something. You just want things. That's fine. Awesome. So in our first group, we drop the letter E. And those are all ER verbs. Our second group is ER and IR verbs. And these guys not only drop EIs, but they also add a D in there. So that is delightful. The verbs in this group are poner, tener, salir. Actually, I'm going to switch those orders real quick because I prefer alphabetical order over ending similarity. Tener, valer, and then venir. Now that's great, but I mean, how can we differentiate between these groups? Like, how do we know that these ER verbs are D guys and they're not just normal droppy guys? Well, you know, because these are the yo-go verbs. These are all verbs whose present tense, yo form, ends in go. Pongo, salgo, tengo, valgo, and vengo. Isn't that a neat pattern? I'm super proud of that. That's something I figured out all by myself. Okay? So our yo-go verbs are the ones with the D. I don't know, like a trick that will help you remember that, but that's the pattern. Okay? So we drop the E or I, and then we replace it with, I shouldn't have done that, I should have highlighted them so you can still see the original verb. So we're going to drop the EI part and replace it with a D. So poner, when we want to say, or poner is to put, that'll become pondr something. Oh, I know, let's put a little D right there. Boop. Nice, right? Salir becomes saldr, again followed by your future endings, of course. Tener becomes tendre, like tendril, so that's fun. And then valer becomes valdr, followed by your endings. And then venir becomes vendre, followed by your endings. For example, poner means to put. So to say people will put, we drop the E, replace it with a D to give us Wow, what was that? Pondre something. So I'm going to take all my pondre people, or take my pondra, put it in front of all of my people, and then go in, add my endings. So I will put pondré. You will put pondrás. He will put pondrá. We will put pondremos. Y'all will put pondrés. And they will put pondrán. Now that we've done an example, go ahead and try salir and venir by yourself. All right, here we go. Salir, our first step is to drop that I and change it into a D, which will give us our new stem of saldr something. Oh, I forgot the R. There we go. Saldre something. So I'm going to put that down in front of all my verbs first. And then I'm going to put the endings in there. Saldré, saldrás, saldrá, saldremos, saldréis, and saldrán. Well, that went well. Okay, it's more like left than went, but we try. Okay. By the way, I don't think we translated these all. Poner, to put. Salir, to leave. Tener, to have. Valer, to be worth, like value. Venir, to come. Oh yeah, needs a little ending. Blink. Speaking of venir, what is our first step in putting this in the future? We're going to get rid of the I. And what are we putting in place of the I? We're going to put D. So our new stem is vendra. Before I put that new stem in place, I'm going to put the endings. So we have as, a, hemos, eis, an. Did I put N in any of them? Okay. I forgot accent in saldrán. So there that goes. Moving on. Now I need to put my stem on all my verbs. It is just vendra, like vendor, someone who sells things. We have vendré, vendrás, vendrá, vendremos, vendréis, vendrán. So you have it. Those are our first two groups of irregular verbs. We drop the E, or we drop the vowel in the infinitive. We drop the vowel in the infinitive, but put a D. And then we also have the sir and hacer. So, you can drop the CI and the CE, like, in the verb. I don't think that's very helpful, like this rule. I don't think that rule is very helpful. So it's a lot easier to just be like, hey, you know what? These guys are the weird guys. The sir goes to dir, and hacer goes to R. Ta-da! Notice also, however, that these two are yogo verbs. So just like our previous dr people, these are also yogo verbs. I say is digo, and I make is hago. So that's a good hint to remind, like, is this verb irregular? Well, is it a yogo verb? Because then yes. Also these. So that's fun. These aren't even all irregular in the present tense, so memorize which ones they are. I'm sorry, they're all ER verbs. I hope that helps. Anyway, back to our dear friend, the sir. Get it? Dear friend. As long as we have our root, we just plug in our endings, and then we're all set. So let's plug in our root. Let's spread our roots. Is that the phrase? Doesn't matter. Dire, dirás, dirá, diremos, diréis, dirán. And then finally, hacer, to make or to do. We're just going to start out with ar and then spread that to everybody in our conjugation chart. We like pirates. Arr. Anyway, moving on. I will make are, you will make harás, he will make hará, or do. We will do, haremos. They will do, haréis. Y'all will make, harán. Because hacer is make or to do, so you can switch it up. So there you go. These are all go verbs. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Now that we have literally all of the conjugations of all of the irregular verbs, I mean, kind of. So like these are like the basic ones. You can have, let's make fun of poner, for example. Let's use poner as our example. You have other verbs that use poner as a base, like posponer is to postpone. So if you want to say, I will postpone, that's yo pospondré. It follows the same pattern as poner. But you'll get there. You'll figure it out. It's just like irregulars. You say, yo pospongo. I postpone. I will postpone is pospondré. So they form the basis of other verbs. All right. Now we're going to take a few minutes to go through some examples. Yay. And then I think I'll let you we'll do 2 activities from the book as well. So go ahead and take some time, pause the video, take some time to do the más práctica, filling in the verbs best you can. Okay, here we go. We will not do it. Nosotros no lo haremos. Because we have ar as our root and then hemos as our ending, as our stem, sorry. Ar as our stem, hemos as our ending. Tendrán ustedes, because we have tendr and then on as our ending. This looks like lemonade. That's fun. Tres is habrá. There will be, abr as our stem, a as our ending. Ooh, I think I put this in your worksheet, but if I didn't, there should be a tú here to give pondrás. Pondr being our stem, as being our ending. Number 5 should have a nosotros in front of it. I'll fix that on your worksheet. With that in mind, that should be saldremos. We will leave soon. Saldr being our stem, hemos being our ending. Caber is going to give us cabre. In our yo form, we got the ending, cabr in our stem. Hacer, like we saw up here, gives us an ar stem, and then quien is like he or she. So hará with our ending, ar with our stem. In ocho, we have saber is going to give us sabrá. To match usted, we got that a ending, sabr, because we lose the e. Ooh, interesting. I think in your worksheet, I might change this to a reflexive verb to see if you can put it together. That's what I'm going to do. Anyway, so this comes from ponerse, where we take the reflexive pronoun off and we put it out in front. And then we conjugate poner like normal. Normal, I say, as an infinitive verb, gives us pondr, and then our ending, a. Oh, what is supposed to be ustedes, or ellos. Let's make it that. Let's make that an ustedes guy. Woohoo. Wrong color. Number 10 is supposed to be a yo. So that's exciting. Dire coming from decir is our dear friend. Aww. All right, anyway. And then valdrá is from valer. It will be worth it. It'll be worth it to try it. That's a lot of it's for a statement. But there you go. And then finally, para tu cumpleaños. What will you want for your birthday? Means we want us, but quer as our stem, giving us querrás. Woohoo! And I was so proud of this video because I thought I explained it so well. Oh well, that'll be great. All right, take a big breath and review the 3 steps, the 3 kinds of stem changes basically that we have in the future tense. First, we drop the E's, then we replace it with a D, and then we just have dir and ar because, sorry. Alrighty, for actividad 5, we have to change statements about the present into future statements. So I already just put a cough and then en el futuro because they're all about the future. Now our first sentence in the book says, hoy los políticos no saben cómo mejorar el mundo. They do not know how to improve the world. So I took that saber, well actually I kept los políticos because we're still talking about los políticos, but in a better world, they will know how. So saber gives us sabrán. On needs to match los políticos. So they will know, sabrán, cómo mejorar el mundo. The rest stays the same. Right? Número 2. We're talking about los científicos are our subject. So they will be able to discover cures is what we want. So they will discover cures. They will be able to is podrán. So we got the podr and then on to match científicos. Now since we have 2 verbs in a row, the second one remains infinitive and does not change. Awesome. So that's how to do this activity. Oh, yeah. And then, we finish the rest of the sentence. Ta-da! Amazing. So that's how to do actividad 5. Come back. We'll check the key in class. And then for activity 6, I'm going to go through and do the verbs with you. And then your details can change. So número 1 is venir. Venir is a yo-go verb from vengo. So that's going to be vendr. Us, well actually, they're all going to be us, aren't they? Because we're asking our friends. So I'm going to take this us ending and put it on all of the questions. Man, I love noticing patterns. It's so helpful. Ta-da! Awesome. And then vendrás is you will come. And then, of course, I will come to school. Vendré. Amazing. Notice that yo ending, that's going to be true in all of our answers. So that should go in all of our answers. I'm going to copy that down too. I probably should have copied them at the same time. But that's okay. Whee! Now, in this activity, you can give multiple responses, you have multiple options of responses. You can say, sí, yes, I will do that. Or you can say, no, I will not do that. Remember to do your double no's, though, when that happens. Okay, número 2, our verb is querer. Now, querer, as an ER verb, is a drop the E guy. But it is not replaced with a D because it's not a yo-go verb. So that goes away and we just have querrás. Will you want? And we can use that same stem for the yo form. Sí, querré. Or no, no querré. And the rest. Número 3, our infinitive is tener. Will you have to work? And of course, you know, that's the world. Now, tener, as an ER verb, is our drop the E. And should we replace it with a D? Yes, because it is a yo-go verb. We say tengo. So because it's a yo-go verb, keep that D in there. And that is our form of our verb that we want. Tendrás. We're going to keep that okay, for the yo form as well. Yo tendré. Número 4, we have poner. Again, because it's not decir and it's not hacer, we're going to keep that the same. And then we're going to drop the E. Do we replace it with a D? Well, poner, is that a yo-go verb? Pongo, yes, that's a yo-go verb. So we'll put the D in our verb. And número 5 is salir, to leave. Salir is first of all, we need to get rid of our IR. Now, do we replace it with the letter D? Well, we do, in fact, because salgo is a yo-go guy. So, awesome. Oh, we haven't been putting the yo forms in. My bad. So we have pondré and saldré as well. You can figure the rest of the pattern. Take that same pattern and carry it to the rest of the activity, and then have a wonderful time on your homework. Yay!